I'm Emma, 26 female. I'm here to share a story about family drama that's been brewing for years but hit its peak recently. It revolves around my older sister Jessica, 30F, our complicated sibling dynamic, and a wedding that turned everything upside down. Jessica and I have always had a strange relationship. She's the textbook definition of the golden child, outgoing, confident, and effortlessly charming. Growing up, she was the star of every family gathering. She was prom queen, valedictorian, and the one everyone assumed would go far. Meanwhile, I was the quieter, artsy kid who stayed in the background. I didn't mind it much until I got older and realized how much space Jessica seemed to take up in every room. In my early teens, I discovered makeup. It started as a hobby, watching YouTube tutorials and experimenting with drugstore products. Over time, it became a form of self-expression for me. I loved how a swipe of eyeliner or a bold lip could make me feel more like myself. By the time I was in college, makeup wasn't just something I enjoyed, it was a part of who I was. People started noticing too. Compliments about my makeup became a regular thing. And for the first time, I felt like I wasn't just Jessica's little sister. I was Emma, and people were seeing me for me. This shift didn't go unnoticed by Jessica. She never said anything outright, but I could tell it bothered her. Little comments started creeping in. Wow, Emma, you're wearing a lot of makeup today. Or, don't you think that's a bit much for brunch? It felt like she was trying to pull me back into her shadow, but I brushed it off. I wasn't going to stop doing something that made me happy just because it made her uncomfortable. Fast forward to earlier this year when Jessica announced her engagement to her long-term boyfriend. The wedding planning kicked into high gear, and as expected, Jessica was the center of attention. I was genuinely happy for her, even though the family dynamic hadn't changed much. Our mom was practically glued to Jessica's side, helping her pick out flowers and centerpieces, while I was mostly kept in the loop through group chats. Then came the bombshell. At a family dinner, Jessica pulled me aside and casually mentioned that she had a small request for the wedding and the events leading up to it. She asked me to tone down my makeup for her engagement party and the wedding. At first, I thought she was joking. But no, she was dead serious. She said she didn't want me drawing attention on her big day. I was stunned. It wasn't like I was planning to show up in glitter eyeliner and neon lipstick, not that there's anything wrong with that. I just wanted to wear makeup the way I always do. It felt unfair and controlling. I told her I'd think about it, but the conversation left a bad taste in my mouth. The next day, I brought it up to my parents. My mom immediately took Jessica's side, saying, "It's her wedding. You should respect her wishes." My dad, ever the peacemaker, stayed neutral, saying he understood both perspectives. It was clear that if I pushed back, I'd be painted as the difficult one. To keep the peace, I reluctantly agreed to scale back my makeup for the engagement party. I showed up wearing a barely there look, light foundation, a hint of mascara, and a neutral lip. The reactions were not great. People kept commenting on how different I looked, asking if I was feeling okay, or if I'd stopped wearing makeup altogether. Jessica, on the other hand, seemed pleased. She spent most of the night basking in the attention and barely acknowledged me. It was frustrating, but I held my tongue. Things came to a head later that night. After the party, Jessica cornered me in the kitchen and accused me of not trying hard enough to tone down my appearance. She said the comments from guests about my new look made her feel like I was still trying to steal the spotlight. That was the last straw. I told her I wasn't going to change who I was just to make her feel better about herself. She stormed off, and the tension between us has been unbearable ever since. The next day, I turned to Reddit for advice. I laid everything out, from Jessica's request to the engagement party fallout. The responses were mixed. Some people said I should compromise since it's her wedding.